Welcome to TRUTalk. My name is GrindheadJim. Tonight we're talking about TwitchCon. Sony sues somebody. Stan Lee speaks up about elder abuse. Epic acquires any cheat company, and Microsoft's shit. Microsoft starts a streaming service beta run. Your typo screwed me up. Welcome to TRUTalk. So Stanley finally sat down for an interview to speak out against elder abuse. He's been having some issues in that realm for a while. Folks like Kevin Smith came to his defense, and it's been an ongoing thing for most of this year. And to see this, something's finally going on is cool. We'll talk more about that. Microsoft plans next year for a beta test of the new streaming platform. It's going to be kind of like, what NVIDIA was doing and what Sony's been doing in the past. They have their own version of it, and we're going to get to try it out this year. Sony is suing someone in California for selling jailbroken PlayStations. I wonder why. It's not like it's illegal. Oh, wait, it is. Speaking of things that should be illegal, Joe, what do you have for us?
So Fortnite, or Epic Games, the developer for Fortnite, they've acquired Camu, I believe is how it's pronounced, an anti-cheat company. So it should be pretty interesting to see how that's going to work together. Pretty obvious to help kind of cut out the battle royale cheating or any kind of in-game cheating. TwitchCon, you would really hope that that's what they're going to do with this. TwitchCon names, brands, partners, meet and greets. All the news is out there now. The schedule, lots of information to share with that. Some pretty interesting stuff, including I think Nissan, the Cup of Noodles company, has a booth. Spoiler alert. Yeah.
Really?
But before we get into any of that, I want to introduce you to our true affiliate with us tonight. Eshnyd, how you doing, buddy?
Doing good. How are you guys doing?
Doing great. To get things started, why don't you give us a brief overview of your channel, who you are as a streamer, and what got you started in Twitch?
All right. So for those of you that don't know me, I'm Esh. I've been known as Baby Esh, Toddler Esh, Chocolate Milk Esh. A lot of stories to go through with that, but I've been streaming for a little over a year and a half now, and I got started from watching a partnered streamer named Brown Man. He's very big up. He's very funny. I'd recommend going and watching him, but
he's a big brown man.
But
you don't be racist.
But my channel's wrapped around basically community. So we have a lot of fun. We play games, a lot of first-person shooters, a lot of competitive kind of style games. But we do dabble in a lot of other stuff. We basically play anything. But
yeah. By the way, I will share the chocolate milk Esh story.
Oh gosh.
I think I tell it better than Esh does. I was there.
Okay. Here we go.
That's a
Joe
great
story time. Put on your sleepy time tea bags.
So we're at ECGC in Raleigh. So this year,
What the frick is ECGC?
East Coast Gaming Conference. So it's where a lot of game developers, indie developers, stuff like that. It was a TRUgaming booth that we were all hanging out at, and we met for breakfast. We just had the community meet for breakfast beforehand, and all of the adults are at the table. And Esh, okay, this is important.
I love how you say that as though Esh is not an adult.
After this story, he's not. So we go around the table, and each adult is ordering an adult breakfast beverage, like coffee. And they're each going through the ways that they want their coffee, if they want sugar, whatever. Comes all the way around, and then the last person to order is Esh, and he looks straight at the server and says, "I'll take a chocolate milk." And the whole table just turned right at him. We're like, "Did you what?" And Super's just straight face, just dead serious. And from then on out, anybody who was there at the table, every time we see Esh, we ask him if he's got a chocolate milk, and he loves chocolate milk. He doesn't like Yoo-hoo, not Yoo-hoo. It's not real chocolate
water.
milk.
At least you didn't pull a back to you were like, "Miss, give me a milk, chocolate." Like you didn't do that.
No, just
I mean, 'cause I thought that's where this was leading. I thought this was going like, but coffee, black. I'm like, orange juice, squeeze. I'll take my milk, chocolate. I just said he wanted a chocolate milk. So you know what? You got a problem with chocolate milk?
No, nobody here has a problem with it. But no, the reason we all like everybody.
I will wind up and like, "What's wrong with chocolate milk?"
No, the reason it was so funny is because everybody at that table. I mean, we had Velok, we had Dan the Dapper, McKittens, and Mallet, a couple of other people. So they're already like, you're standing in front of a firing line when you go and do this, and he's just
You guys
super
take
confident,
breakfast
super
way too seriously, man. I'm sorry.
It's just
You
super.
got bring guns to the breakfast, and you're like, "What are you ordering, Ash? What are you ordering?"
Yeah,
It was-
I mean, no lack of confidence in that whatsoever, and we were all just amazed and so amused that he didn't care what we thought. He didn't care. He was like,
Yep.
nope, I will have my chocolate milk. Thank you, sir.
I did feel the pressure though, with everyone staring at me at that moment. I was like, "Oh no, did I say something wrong?"
See, now I want to go to that convention. I'll fly in at like 5, like red eye flight, 5 in the morning. Go to breakfast, show up, and be like, "Who's gonna mess with me with my damn breakfast beverage?" Like, go ahead, right now. Let's see how that ends for you. Right?
Oh
I'm
man.
gonna order what I'm gonna order, and you're gonna like it. I'll
Yeah.
sit down. I'll order something crazy. I'll probably order like cherry Kool-Aid. They're like, "What? Cherry Kool-Aid." I'm like,
I think we managed to even throw Dan off, who was chugging his cup of coffee and like inhaling his food because he had to rush to the booth, and
Yeah,
he
he
even
did.
stopped.
Yeah.
there you go. And then see, then I would finish my breakfast, and I would just glare at every individual at the table, one by one. Then I get a flight, and I go home. But like, how it works.
I would
Where's
just sit
Ash?
there, just make eye contact, just
Right. You know, like I'm like, Ash, you know, sleep.
oh man.
Keep your milk chocolate, you know.
That was
See,
fun.
I was gonna ask about toddler Ash. I don't even care now. Like that's a good story, but I'm all hepped up by it. I can only imagine what that story's like and how much more my blood pressure would go up. I have my health to consider. We're gonna skip that. But just regular old plain Eshnyd, where did that come from? I have a feeling this will not make me want to punch somebody in the throat.
No, it wouldn't. So,
Good.
my youth minister and I were really close in high school, and my name is Ethan Snyder. And so he was going around a bunch of people in the youth group, giving them nicknames. He looked at me and he goes, "Eshnyd, that's your nickname." And I went, "Works for me." So ever since high school, just been going with it.
They just threw it at you. There's like,
Yeah.
there you go.
I didn't
ever
understand it
asked?
at first. I was like, "What does that mean?" And everyone in the youth group was like, "Yeah, I like it." And I went, "Well, if everyone likes it, it's got to be good then, I guess."
Well,
So-
what is it?
It's a
Like,
it's a
without
mixture of
going-
my
Oh, okay.
it's a mixture of my first and last name put together.
Got it.
So
All right, so they're
Easy.
just like, yo. You're like, oh.
yeah, I was like,
Nice.
I guess
So
this is gonna.
Yeah, well, you know, I haven't had my chocolate milk today, so it flew over my head.
Oh man.
Ay, ay, ay.
Now, when you make your chocolate milk, what kind of milk do you use? Whole milk, 2%, skim,
2%.
almond milk?
You can't do skim or almond milk. It's not real chocolate milk then. You gotta do 2%.
See, I would agree with you there, but as long as it's not skim. But I know some people need to drink skim.
That's
However,
Yes.
if you buy almond milk pre-chocolatized, that's pretty good.
fair.
If you try
Okay.
to make
That-
it, if
that-
you try to make it, you're gonna fail because of the way the chemical process works.
Yep.
Because chemistry, I took it, look it up. But if you buy it pre-chocolatized, that's a word. Okay, I passed English too. But if you buy it pre-chocolate, the chocolate almond milk, mwah,
okay.
It's good.
I can respect
It's
that.
good.
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
Also works really well for like the shaky, it's like a Slim Fast or something like that.
Mhm.
I find the almond milk works real well.
okay.
Almonds, you know. Sorry.
So, other than chocolate milk, what keeps you motivated on Twitch? What keeps you streaming? What do you love about it?
Honestly, just the people. I've met a lot of amazing people, aka you guys, most of the TRUfam in general. Just the people, the interactions, and the relationships you can build with your viewers, with other streamers, a bunch of stuff like that.
I love how you included me in that because literally
Yeah.
the first thing I said to you today was, "I'll fix it if you shut the fuck up."
And you know what? It was great.
I actually said that, so true. You know, people are great, and then there's me, and that's a whole other thing. I'm the grumpy guy around here, and I'm okay with it.
Would you be
And
the
that's
grumpy
pretty
old
much
guy
me.
of this group?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, absolutely. I'm
Okay.
Walter Matthau, and what's his name? The other guy?
Not
John-
Walter John.
Oh,
Not
that's
Walter
not
Matthau.
Oh, what is his name? Walter Matthau and the more well-known guy.
Clearly.
eat my shorts. You know, the other one, the other dead guy. That's great, Jim.
Yeah,
Jack Lemmon.
Jack Lemmon. Thank you.
I just googled
John
Walter
Jack.
Matthau and the autocomplete put in Jack
Right.
Lemmon.
Like those two put together, because sometimes I'm like the reasonable, high, strong. Hey, wow, 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 you know, Jack Lemmon. A lot of times I'm like, you know, but I don't wear the clothes though. I don't wear those clothes.
Okay.
Although what I'm looking forward to is being legitimately old and wearing stuff like this, you know, like palm death shirts and stuff. Like, hey, in my day it was all Nazi punks F off and
Yeah.
freaking Nazis, you know. Great.
Fair enough.
But you know, Eshnyd's cool. You know, Twitch is fun, I guess. You know.
Yeah.
Speaking of fun things and old people,
I set you up. I wasn't gonna steal it.
I know you were trying to lead me.
Yeah.
Stan Lee, not being abused. This is a good thing. That man is a national freaking treasure. And he was having some issues where his caretaker slowly but methodically taken over like his social media accounts and all this other stuff. Was like started controlling like his public appearances, and was like trying to like shut his sister out and all this stuff. Not his sister, but his daughter. And then his daughter come back and was like, "What are you doing?" And then the caretaker like accused her of doing all this stuff, and was like, "Nah, you're clearly doing it." And ultimately, it all came to pass. A judge ruled in favor of the daughter. He is now at home and doing much better. Put out a statement. He's like, "Hey, this is BS and this and that." It is still unclear if he's going to be making any more public appearances after a rather murky announcement earlier this year. But this issue that was being reported on, it got to a point where things had gotten through Hollywood that something was very wrong. And even Kevin Smith, who's got a huge social media reach, was like, "Hey, Stan, I want you to know that I want you to be safe, and you're welcome to stay in my house. If you need to come to my house, it is a safe place. We will put you up, this and that." And that's where I kind of got wind of it a few months back. And to see this, I was very pleased to hear that half a year of somewhat terror is over, because it's one thing to have your money mismanaged, but when someone says the word elder abuse, it's kind of scary. Like I can't imagine someone in my family being of that age, like having to go through something like that. And someone like Stan, who seems like a pretty affable fella and means so much to so many people. It just goes to show you that, you know, no one is safe from bad things, even when they're in the public eye, you know. I don't know how into like Stan Lee you are, or if you knew anything about this, but this is something that I just thrust. I'm like, we'll talk about this because Stan Lee's awesome.
Well, it's definitely relatable to anything or to anybody with their families. If you've got an older parent, grandparent, great grandparent, you know,
Right.
I mean, just reading some of the stuff that his family went through, like the falsify or the false emergency calls. Did you read the details on what those were? Like, I mean,
yeah.
You know, after the first false call, I would have been very, very like red flags everywhere, you know, because he was, right. I don't know which one was first, but one of them was the security guard. They called claiming assault with a deadly weapon against a security guard because they wouldn't sign an NDA. You know, and then the other one, this guy called the cops on the detectives that were investigating him at the time, called in for a fake burglary. Because the detectives were at the house, according to, I mean, you know, it's we laugh, but you know, it's a serious concern, because you look at, I mean, we nickname them old folks homes, retirement home, nursing homes, any of those types of rehab centers where an elderly person needs medical care to get back to a reasonable health to go home. I mean, you worry about that. My grandmother's in one right now, and then we'll be coming home and have home care, living at my parents' house, and we're gonna have a caretaker there for certain hours during the day. And this, even though she is no Stan Lee, she probably couldn't draw a single stick figure right now, but she's not rich or anything, but she still needs care, and it's hard to trust a complete stranger to know that they're going to have their best interests and not their own self-interest. And so, I mean, it's scary to know that even the great Stan Lee can deal with this.
Absolutely. Any thoughts on that there, Eshnyd?
Yeah, it's scary, honestly, especially with someone, as GamerDad was saying, with that much fame. Both of my great grandparents had that in-home care. They even were in nursing homes too, and you read all the stories about all the people just being awful to them, and it makes you worry that it's happening behind closed doors, even where they're at. But my grandpa's, I think, just getting ready to have that on him now. So it's a worry. But with someone, again, with that much fame, it should like red flags everywhere.
Right. Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. Speaking of red flags,
I knew it. I was thinking the same thing. Microsoft.
go do it. Do it on fire.
Microsoft is planning a beta test, beta run for their game streaming service. You know, when I originally saw this, I was worried about it. Another, like, they want to take a stab at Twitch or even Mixer or YouTube Gaming. Rest in peace. You know,
given the fact that they freaking own Mixer, I was like, mm-mm.
Right, like, what? Why? What is this? So, you know, it's kind of like a non-news kind of news thing. I mean, I get it. They, you know, having the consoles be able to just provide the content out there for you to check out, but you know, or sorry, play on the device without being locked down. You know, like more of the streaming device that we talked about last week, as far as the downloadable content, streaming as in Netflix streaming, not Twitch streaming.
Right.
You know, I think it's a cool feature. I think it'll definitely, being that consoles are all the same except for the exclusive content that they provide, with the new next gen systems that are coming out, they're gonna have to find features that separate them, not just the game. With crossplay being a very big thing that we're getting very excited about, a new feature like this making it stand out is great.
I'd argue this isn't new at all. This is really just a combination of remote play from PS4, which Xbox One also has, and the PlayStation Now endeavor where you rent it and you play it. So what they're saying is, presumably, you own the game, and if it can be enabled on Project X Cloud, you can play it anywhere. That part of it, where it's just like, boom, that to me is innovative. I like the idea. If I own something on Xbox One, I can stream it to my computer without having to install it or any of this trash, without having to involve the Xbox. They're just gonna, like, it's in the cloud, which would be fun because there are some games on my Xbox One that I won't play, even though it's 15 feet that way. I don't play it. When I'm not at this desk, I don't want a controller in my hand very often. My Xbox One is still in the box from when I moved here. I don't use it. But there are other games that if they take a similar approach with this as they have with backwards compatibility, meaning if they just say all this stuff that's already digital in the cloud, backwards compatible, you can just throw it on Project X Cloud. And it's just a feature and not a paid service. That would make it something really cool, and it would set them apart a little bit, and it would make me play some Xbox games a little more often, i.e. ever, but I don't know because it says right here in the article, it sounds like there's a lot of promise of this. You can bet that Engadget, spoilers, that's who we got it from, will continue to follow it through its development as we learn more about the service and its upcoming public beta next year. So we don't know if this is a paid service or not. If this was a service where any game you own, you can just go, and these were like $5 a month, I think it'd be worth it. If it's closer to PlayStation Now, where it's you pay a flat fee and you can stream whatever games are in that service, regardless of whether or not you own it, that I'm like, eh. So I don't know. We'll know. I think that this is well-worn territory, between like the Shield and remote play and stuff from PS4 and PlayStation Now. And I think that tech is there. I think that the services are pretty good. It's always, how convenient is it? How much is it going to cost? If Microsoft really wants to blow the doors off and make this a feature rather than a service, they're going to hit it out of the park. I think that they're going to do that? No. I have zero faith on that.
It's Microsoft. I mean,
yeah, I just think if it's free, I'll be all over it. I'll go back to Xbox. I'll go play any game. I'll go buy games. But if it's paid, I won't touch it. I can't.
And I feel bad as a gamer saying that, because so many times, like when someone says, well, we shouldn't have to pay for it, like, well, there's some stuff that you should pay for, and there's some stuff you shouldn't have to pay for. And I think this falls under one of those things, especially when you're the underdog in the marketplace. Your market share is, you need to do something to at least generate sales of your software, because if they do it where I buy a Microsoft game digitally on one of their storefronts, right? I just open up Xbox.com and buy an Xbox game, and I can just turn around without installing it, play on my phone. Bruh, I will buy more Microsoft games. Mm-hmm. It will happen. It's a thing, but I don't think that's what this is. I'm just going, hope you learned your lesson there, ML. But we'll see. We'll see. Speaking of people needing to learn their lesson, Sony is suing a cat for selling previously jailbroken PS4s, which is like, dude. So basically, he put unofficial software on there that enabled you to do all kinds of fun stuff with piracy and so forth. And this guy was not shy about what he's doing. He's violating copyright and the DMCA and circumventing the copy protection and preloading boot. He's not only is he saying here's a jailbroken PS4, that's bad enough. He's just throwing games on there like, here you go. And this dude sold 2 of them to Sony themselves so they could verify what happened. So like, not even entrapment at that point, because they're not law enforcement. They're just like, well, let's see what he's got. And that allows them to reverse engineer what he's doing and everything else. On his website, he was like, basically encouraged people to stop buying games. And he said he basically, there's no way he could claim he was doing this for anything other than illegal purposes. But with the lawsuit, they're looking for some damages. I'm assuming they're going to make an example of this dude, and good for them. I hope this guy, honestly, I hope he never digs himself out of that hole. Flat out. Hope he never digs himself out of that hole, because that was stupid. It's one thing to sell him under the table or on Craigslist or something. Dude had a website. Do you think Sony's not going to know?
Jeez.
Like, what do you think's going to happen? Like, come on, dude.
As someone that I used to work in a retail of like games and consoles and stuff, and we saw so many of those come in where people were like, hey, I'm not saying I modded it, but it has some cool features to it. And we're like, we can't take that. But it's having a public website advertising it like, hey, you want something cool that you don't have to pay for. I got you. That's the biggest target you could think on your back. It's just set. You're just waiting.
It's just like, bruh.
You don't even have to feel bad for the guy anymore. You just, that's
nah.
Oh man. I mean, we all know that just about every single electronic device, somebody out there is figuring out a way to mod it, to jailbreak it, to whatever other term. Hack
jailbreak. Yeah. They're trying to get around. People are always going to try and get around stuff and do stuff they're not supposed to do.
But not that we're going to promote it, condone it, or anything
ever
like that. But
because that would be bad.
But if you're doing something like that, don't be dumb. Don't go into a bank the day before you rob it and say, guys, by the way, I'm gonna be here tomorrow and rob it. Like,
or a website that says professional bank robber.
Yeah, that's right. For hire.
Put that on my LinkedIn account right there.
Yeah,
so have
my local police department hire me to rob the local bank next to the precinct. I mean,
like, here's the thing. Like, I have a CD collection that it fell over on one shelf. It would kill you. That's how many CDs I have. Having those CDs and had them in boxes for a long time, not on a shelf, I would feel bad about downloading MP3s of stuff I owned. Okay, so to see this, like, what kind of brash jerk just like, and just throws this stuff out there. And I'm sure that's exactly how he laughs. He's like, You know, like, I'm sure that's what he does.
Probably does that voice too.
I would imagine he's not laughing now. Oh man.
But there's always going to be somebody who's going to try and work around the system and do things they shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
And Epic Games might have something to say about that, won't they, Joe?
Yep, they will. They just recently acquired Camu. I really hope I'm saying this right. Camu. I don't know.
Lawsuit.
Well, I'm out. Term to the lawsuit state that I cannot know. I'm just so
I just hope it rhymes at Shamu. That's all.
Camu. Yeah. So it's a Helsinki-based security company, but I didn't realize this until reading some of the article. Their anti-cheat tech is in over 100 million PCs globally.
Yep.
And it helps to protect from over 80 games. I've never heard of them, and I guess it's a good thing.
It's a good thing though. Like that's like you would hope that anti-cheat you wouldn't know about. Like security in its purest form should be something that you never know anything about. Because that you're secure and you don't worry about it.
Right.
So when a company like this is just like just gets scooped up by Epic, you're like, oh, cool.
Well, and we already know they're getting serious about security because they've been trying to incentivize their players to get onto two-factor authentication by giving them like a free skin and all that. Just because, you know, we're all greedy players, and if you're going to give me something free in game, I'm going to do most of what you need in order for me to get that. If it's not like absurd, so you know, this just shows even further that Epic is really serious about making sure that not only do they keep their content fun, but they keep it safe and free of any kind of services that they can control to remove. You know, no cheating. You know, PUBG's been hacked like crazy with cheats all the time, and various other ones. But they don't want any of that business here.
There you go.
It's good. I mean, they needed it.
Yeah, I think that they need to have that, and I think too Epic would be smart, continue to leverage the technology in a for-profit manner for other games, so they can have these guys in-house do things for Fortnite and bake it in, but then also continue to let that software and what Camu does still be an industry thing, because 80 games is not a small number. No, it really isn't. So we need more security, not less. So I hope that this is not a move to privatize one of the forerunners. I hope that it's a move to monetize one of the forerunners. That's the hope. But I think that first and foremost, they got to put it in Fortnite and make it super cool. And I think that they can.
Imagine what they can do with their engine though, because their Unreal Engine is freeware essentially, unless whatever you produce becomes profitable, then they get a cut, which is fair. But imagine if this company, if they integrate this in, and they're now able to allow you to develop your games with some sort of anti-cheat, maybe combining all the services together. Imagine how that would work out for them. Just they've got great.
And I think that would be one of the paid add-ons, right? So imagine you have a free Unreal, but one of your plugins is anti-cheat, and you pay an extra, whatever, $50 for that license or whatever. And even if it's just $50, that's money they're going to make hand over fist.
Oh yeah.
But I think it's a smart move for them. It's a smart move for the game. It's a smart move for the community. So power to them. Like, I'm not usually a fan of buyouts and stuff like that, but this one I was like, yeah, that makes sense. That's smart. So Epic.
Did you notice the very large image right in the middle of the article as you were scrolling through it?
Oh, wasn't it?
I just strewed right by it. What was it?
The Fortnite McFarlane action figure reveals at New York Comic-Con. Fortnite.
Yes, because I so closely identify with these random characters.
I mean, that was my first thought.
Every single match that I've grown with for 20 minutes at a time. I don't care.
But
if you could pick an appearance, right? If you could pick like an appearance to stick with, and identify with that character, right? Spoilers and disclaimers. I'm a Destiny player, so I'm very attached to the way my customization works. When I can't do that, I'm like, this is dumb, and I put down the game. Like, and that's saying something, because Destiny's customization is not that great.
But the Dreaming City gear looks fantastic, though.
It's
The Reverie stuff.
Oh yes, looks good. I mean, I have different gear sets there that I like, but ultimately, like, I like having that choice. So when I go into Fortnite, the fact that I can't customize my character dissociates me personally from the game, and lets me just play it as a game, which for me is a good thing. I like that. I can just hop in, play it a couple matches, and leave it, and not feel like I'm losing any investment or whatever. So the fact that they're coming out with action figures, I'm like, why? Like, if they came out with action figures of Broccoli, like, I like Broccoli.
Do you remember one of the first shows we did together when you were mocking the kid asking his mom for money to buy a new skin?
Yeah.
That's why. That's why they're making action figures, because now that kid's gonna walk into like a Walmart or a Target. Mom, I want the action figure. Mom, it's the bear. Mom, this is the game. I want the action figure, and then she can get smacked in the middle of the aisle.
If I were like really heavy into Fortnite, I wouldn't want action figures of the characters. I would just want little models of the guns.
Yeah,
like stuff like that. Like, let me just buy whatever. Or it'd be an all online thing, or I can like I log in with my profile, and I can pick which character I want and which free skin or whatever skin I've bought and put it on that character. Let me buy that. That I'm interested in, because then I can be like, all right, I want this guy with the Twitch Prime thing and this glider and this gun, and that would be fun for me.
I can see a Sims game with a Fortnite skin coming out now.
Oh gosh.
I don't mean that. I just mean, like, let me go online, pick what I want them to look like. Here's the character, here's the outfit, here's the equipment. Put that in a box and ship it to me. That would make sense. Be cool. But this prefab of, like, I'm not going to buy a character who's wearing a skin I don't wear, who's carrying a weapon I don't use. It's kind of like why I had at one point, I think I still have them actually, I don't remember. I might have thrown them out, to be honest with you. I had a Halo 2 figure. And the one that they got from me, it was the only one they could find that had the shotgun, because I was a shotgun guy. But he was blue, and he had like another weapon with him that I didn't use, and that wasn't my character's color. Like, for me, it was all like, why would I commemorate this Spartan that is not me? Like the same thing with like all these Destiny figures that are out. I don't like, unless you give me until they put on a website that says you can pick the race, like, basically let me plug in my character, let me buy that character. If they could mass produce that in some way, because it's not like there's that many combinations, right?
Yeah.
And then you put the gear on them, and that's that, right? So you do that, I will buy 3 of them, and they can be $50 a piece. I'll buy them.
Sure.
I got 3 characters. I'm very attached to them. They have names. We've been places. To the moon. But like, that's the kind of thing that I'm just not seeing companies capitalize on, and I wish that they would. They're just not capitalizing on things. But speaking of companies that capitalize on their brand so well, TwitchCon's coming. I don't go to TwitchCon. I will at some point. But there's
I want to go one day.
I will some point. They're gonna have like PUBG tournaments and Fortnite stuff, and like all like I guess Doritos is sponsoring like a thing with Call of Duty Black Ops 4, and there's like the Fortnite skirmish, and there's like Bethesda stuff, and they're showing off Fallout 76, and they're showing off Scrolls, and they're doing PlayStation is not doing a PlayStation experience this year, but they are going to be at TwitchCon. I imagine there might be some things get announced there and stuff. I think that'll be cool. And you had mentioned Nissan Cup of Noodles is setting up a booth.
Yeah.
Ramen is kind of a thing in the gaming community. I didn't realize how much it is.
Because you spend all your money on the games, you can't buy your food.
Just gotta eat the ramen.
Well, and to be fair, since I moved here, I had more ramen in the last 6 months than I have in the last 16 years, easily. That's not exaggeration.
I've got a friend who at least once a week will make himself He calls it cheesy ramen. He'll take the ramen noodles, cook them up, and then pour it out onto a plate and put like slice of Kraft cheese over top of it. Hey, he loves it. I mean, people like their ramen.
Man.
Yeah.
There's no accounting for taste whatsoever.
There needs to be a website like the people of ramen, kind of like the people of Walmart, and just showing all sorts of different weird ass dishes you do with ramen. No, I've noticed
my tummy said no.
There's two very, very, I mean, there's lots of interesting things about this TwitchCon article, but the two things that really stood out for me is, well, one, Bethesda is coming to TwitchCon for the first time. They're coming out. They've got a lot to show off. They are clearly very proud of Fallout 76 and very, very proud of what they're doing with Elder Scrolls Online. The other thing that struck me as really, really odd, Ninja's not playing Fortnite, according to this. I mean, he probably will at some point during TwitchCon, but he is going to be, he's a Twitch star linked to a Call of Duty Black Ops tournament, not a Fortnite tournament, because they've got
but it is a battle royale.
It is a battle.
But it is a battle royale.
It is.
I want to know how much Activision paid for. I want to know how much he's rolling for that.
Right.
You know, because like just to give you an idea of the scale of this, right? The PUBG tournament is that crown is worth $350,000.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and that's PUBG, which let's face it, ain't selling that at this point. So now you take Ninja, who's a top Fortnite dude, pair him with Activision, who's like inarguably, in my opinion, the biggest publisher right now. And they're like, hey, we got Call of Duty, big game, and a battle royale mode, which is a big game mode. And you know, like the Fortnite competition is like $10 million. So let's say there's no money involved in the tournament between Ninja and Shroud. That means that this is a promotional thing because it's a new game mode. They're trying to make it a thing.
Mm-hmm.
How much is that worth to your marketing team? How much do you pay a guy like Ninja to be like, hey, play Call of Duty? He's like, how much? And they're like, more. And beer. He's like, I'm in. You know,
it's a notable, but this is even though it's
and then he goes,
yeah.
And then he goes, as long as I don't have to play with a girl.
Oh, of course.
I didn't forget that trash. I didn't forget, dude. Those of you who don't know, there was a thing where Ninja talks about why he with females on stream. It's a thing. I got a little heated. I'm still mad, but that's cool. It's fine. It's fine. Fine.
You know, it is a big deal to see. I know it's another battle royale. I know Activision is a big name and bringing out. I mean, I'm tired of the Call of Duty franchise, to be completely honest. Like, it's just so much of it. But you know, I wonder if when this game releases, if Fortnite is going. He says he's going to still play Fortnite, but is he going to play Fortnite in the way that I kind of still play Destiny periodically every couple of nights, or you know?
Here's the thing, though. Like, does Call of Duty cost money? Yes.
It's not going to cost him a penny.
Right away.
I guarantee you, he's got his own copy.
Right, not
him. Already.
But my point is that it will probably sell.
Yeah.
We'll play it. It'll be hot for maybe 3 months, and then when people either get bored of it, or the mechanics are trash, or people are modding it, or whatever they do, people will go back to Fortnite. It's gonna happen. Whether or not Ninja follows suit, we'll see. Mm-hmm. I'm not really. I think that guy has got a regardless of how I feel personally about some of his professional practices, he has built a pretty solid brand. He seems overall to be a decent fella.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's going to be fine. Just play with a girl once in a while, you insecure prick. Okay. You know, not judging, but I am. But I think he's going to be fine. And I think that this is interesting. Is this going to be something that goes on down the road, or is it something else? I don't know. You know, Activision seems to be pushing esports a little harder than they were a couple of years back. Like, they were Call of Duty things a long time ago, and now it's kind of gone by the wayside, and this seems to be a push in that direction. You know, with Destiny, they're looking at making Gambit something that you can do private matches with, which would make it very esportsable.
So
you know,
nice.
Yeah, so I think that's going to be something they'll be pushing for. So my question is, in a year from now, we're going to see that? who would they grab? You've got like your Dr. Lupo's, like the math class, and all these other places that like Broman. People are really good at the game. I love hearing about these kind of little tournaments and things like that. But what I crave, and not just with Destiny, but with Fortnite, with even PUBG or even H1Z1, which I love the tournaments from last year. I want to see a sustained standard set for this kind of stuff, and I want to see stuff every week, or like have seasons of different games where there's like a long form tournament. Like I want to watch the way people watch sports, and I've never gotten that with any of the games that I have any care for at all. Like you see it with like CS:GO, boring.
League of Legends.
With Dota, boring. League of Legends, boring. If you could just, I don't know, try to have some kind of like, if someone, basically, people don't want to put in the time or the money. Both. And
there's so much untapped potential in the revenue stream of esports right now too.
Absolutely.
Blowing up.
TwitchCon, it's once a year,
There's
which
your
is
Super Bowl.
Fine. Right. So I feel like there should be events leading up to TwitchCon. TwitchCon needs to have like the crowning whatever of all these different games, and it could really be something a little extra. But again, what do I know? I'm just a 41-year-old fat guy that likes games.
I mean, you could even shape this up. We need to just sit down and make a business plan for this and see if we can get some investors. Because think about it, think of tennis, think of golf, right? They've got their majors.
You're not exciting me with this comparison.
You're exciting me.
Hang on.
Think of tennis, think of golf, think of sports that you hate, Jim. Go.
So no. Think of their competitive scheduling. Don't think about the actual content of the sport. Think about their competitive scheduling. Golf tournaments, since they play all over the world in different seasons, they've got the different majors. With the U.S. Open, they've got I don't know. The Ryder Cup is kind of like a special event. They've
Masters is a big one.
Masters, there you go. Or in tennis.
Or so the short version, are you saying the Arizona T and Buick would sponsor this?
I mean, they'd be dumb not to.
With esports growing in popularity, those big businesses have to throw some money into it. They have to see that.
If Ninja rolls up to an event in this brand of vehicle, people will buy that vehicle.
Yep.
It's true.
Just
the other day, just on the cover of ESPN, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he was also in a.
I heard he doesn't drive girls around though. That's,
He had a headphone commercial just not too long ago too. So I mean,
but he doesn't listen to female artists.
But again, going off of what GamerDad was saying, I really do.
Watch Captain Marvel.
Probably not.
There you go.
But
if
I
he
think
I'll back off him a little bit. I think
we
what they
need to cut him off
dude,
because I think this is fun. I think this is fun jumping on top of Ash.
It's really not.
But seriously, I want to say one thing clearly.
Okay.
Ninja, vaginas are not that scary, bro. They're not. Stop acting like it.
Have a good night. We're out of here.
Just drop it right there. Gosh. Oh man. But
you were saying, Ash?
Yeah. So going off of what GamerDad was saying with the whole building up events, make smaller tournaments, make teams go through a season, implement both of them, but make TwitchCon the Super Bowl, like GamerDad was saying. So just crown all. You imagine how many people would go there just to see the events, not even to be for Twitch itself. You'd ramp up tickets, you ramp up attendees, you'd ramp up venues, people. You probably see professional athletes even come out.
Or you could even, arguably, you could structure it like a lot of conventions or fests are scheduled. Like, for example, like a lot of conventions, like the week leading up to it, have smaller events lead up to the thing. So, like, you could have with metal, like Maryland Metal Death Fest, they have like 3 pre-fest shows that are like 3 hours long or whatever. That occur in the mid-afternoon to the early evening to give folks a chance to roll in, watch some bands, and then they can go home and get some sleep, and then you have the fest over the 2 days or whatever. And I think this could be the same thing, because it's not like asking them to put more content into the time that's there, or even extend the convention itself per se, but to use it as a focal point or a prism where you could have all these things that we need more of. You know, I think what we lack in esports is structure. We lack. Tried it with MLG Gaming, and that is I still think there's hope in that kind of branding. I'm not seeing that they're running with that branding. In fact, I'd love someone to knock them over the head and take it and actually do something with it. 360 no scope. Like, I think there's potential there, and I think that Twitch is in TwitchCon in particular is a great opportunity for that. Because if Nissan Cup is getting involved, they're like, "Yo, noodles," you know, and you got Doritos already. You know, clearly, like, I think that we're at this point where this may be the last year of TwitchCon where we're on the outside looking in. And I feel like it's over the next year. I kind of feel like there's an opportunity to capitalize on what Ninja has done for the brand in terms of mainstream exposure and the concept and everything. And I think that if we don't really push for things like a structured tournament schedule for certain kinds of games, that it's a missed opportunity. And Activision, I hope you're listening, because don't be stupid. Stupid.
Well, I mean, there's a couple of other places where there's formats that can work. Like you were talking about small things to lead up to the bigger events. Some gaming, some wargaming areas have small qualifiers, like Fantasy Flight Games, for a lot of their competitive built games, such as like X-Wing and Star Wars Armada. They call them store championships, and it's a seasonal based thing where you go to small store-based championship tournaments. You might have 40, 50 people there, and then a couple of people that win qualify for a regional, and then you might be in the same small region, and it goes all the way up to nationals at the end of the year.
Right, but then you look at like something like Evo, you've got like a whole thing just around fighting games alone, right? I don't see anything like that for shooters. There's certainly enough battle royale stuff out there. Like there's no. I don't see the lasting value in once a year or twice a year, a couple of the guys you already know play competitively getting together and for a big chunk of money.
No, that's why if you break it down into a more frequent period, like you were saying, and you have, the small nobodies like me, if I ever wanted to try competitive, or if Esh really wanted to dig into it. We've got a friend of ours, Dunyan, wants to get into competitive gaming, right? If they go to some of these smaller cons that are nearby and play in some of those smaller things and maybe build up some points based on their performance and stuff like that, qualifying them from a bigger one. And then next thing you know, just like, hell, World Series of Poker, Magic the Gathering does this. People who get points for their ability and points for their scoring, when you get up to Gen Con or Adepticon or TwitchCon, Comic-Con,
Decepticon, Autobot. Sure. Yeah, I get it.
When you get to some of those big marquee events, you have like a mainstream or maybe even a part, like a slightly smaller thing where it's more visibility, and you start building it up that way. I mean, I don't know how many people listening like Magic, but Magic the Gathering has something like that too, where it's not one annual event every year of their big championships. It's just a constant, frequent thing.
So what I'm hearing is that you and I got to sit down and form a plan, talk to the TRUgaming guys, and then start getting on the horn with convention organizers and see about getting a hold of some video game publishers to maybe co-sponsor some kind of tournaments for certain kind of games.
Maybe a Fortnite thing could happen. Maybe.
That'd be pretty cool.
I hear we have some event coordinators now within our groups too. I think we could. Yeah, I think it would be a fun idea to throw up against a wall. Really.
You almost went full Stewie, like.
So where's my money, man?
Small pussy
Mom.
Yeah.
Mom.
Yeah. Mommy.
Oh gosh.
Mommy.
Mama.
Jim.
We're so far off the rails with this one, but
if you want to keep us on track and you have a podcast topic you want to discuss on the show and hold us to it, all you got to do, it's really easy. Email us at TRUtalk@TRUtalkgaming.com. Actually, that's wrong. It's TRUtalk@TRUgaming.com. TRUtalk@TRUgaming.com. that one. That's where you email us if you have a topic for the podcast you want to discuss on the show. That's going to be a fun edit. You have fun with it. Or you can go to our website, TRUgaming.com, and social media links to contact us.
Remember to subscribe to our channels for episodes via YouTube, Twitch, iTunes, SoundCloud, Spotify, and Spreaker.
There it is. There you go. We're going to be back in a week. That's 7 days from now.
Oh, dang.
A whole 7. That's a lot of hours. And we're going to have for TRUTalk, and maybe I'll, ninja some more. I don't know. Girls, they're not scary, dude. Really. We'll be talking about D-Bear or Die-Bear or DeBear. I don't know how it's pronounced. We'll find out next week, though. Make sure you guys check out the Discord at discord.gg/TRUgaming and tell all of your friends, unless you're like Joe and don't have any, about the podcast.
Correct.
Ash, I had a blast. Thanks for coming out. We really appreciate you being here.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Sir.
Hey, Jim.
What?
Say goodnight, Jim.
No.
Say goodnight, Ash.
Good night, Esh.
All right, we'll see you all next week. Have a great night. Thank you.
Don't fear vaginas. Good night.